about yourself. And this was the time where Zaya took the time to say, I'm black, I'm this, and I'm gay. At the time, Zaya said, I am gay. So the teacher called home.
8 years old.
At 8 years old. The teacher called home and said, hey, I just want you guys to know we post these all over the school, but we didn't want to post this if you guys and blah, blah, blah. Right? So we sat down with the teacher and talked about the teacher at that time was a gay female.
Okay.
Gave Zion the confidence.
That's a blessing.
To be able to say those words. So, Boosie, all the people who got something to say, Jay Boogie who just came out, all the people who got something to say about my kids, I thank you because you're allowing the conversation to keep going forward. Because you know what? You might not have the answer today. I don't have all the answers, but we're growing from all these conversations. So I thank everybody for even hating and starting those conversations, because those conversations are starting other conversations that we need to have and that's happening out there. So I don't hate.
Hey, I'm gonna say this, bro. Man, you're a real life G, D-Wade, bro.
Because and that could have been a whole nother damn 30 minutes about what you just said.
Just on the journey from finding out, from Zaya saying, Dad, this is who I am, to seeing D-Wade on talk shows, D-Wade being a champion for his, not only for his daughter, right, but for anybody who looks, being a champion for his, not only for his daughter, right, but for anybody who looks at Zaya and says, you know what, that's what I hope to have.
Growing up in the inner city of Chicago, in the hood, you're told that boys do this. Boys play football, boys play basketball, boys play baseball, boys date girls, whatever the case may be. You're told this is what you do, right? So, I'm no different. I'm raised that way. I'm in the locker room. I say all the things that everyone is saying. I'm not sitting up here like I have never done or said anything, right, when it comes against the opposite sex. Because I was ignorant, I didn't understand.
Right.
So when it hit my doorstep at 3 years old, like I said, when me and my wife looked at each other, right? And the reason we looked at each other is because of this, you know, as kids, I used to put on heels. I used to do all those things. I try to put on whatever my sisters wear. When all my sisters did, I try to do those things. You know, as kids, I used to put on heels. I used to do all those things. I try to put on whatever my sisters wear. When all my sisters did, I try to do those things. So at first, I said to myself, oh no, I did that. So I ain't just doing the things that I did. And then it kept going further and further. And then me and my wife had to look at each other and say, well, what if? And at that moment, everything that I was taught went out the window, because now I'm a parent. And my sole job and my sole responsibility is to make sure that this kid grow up knowing that it's supported and is loved by his father and the other parent, right? That's my only job. And so when it came down to Zaya, at 3 years old, I looked at it and said, okay, D, I looked in the mirror. And now, not only did I look in the mirror, when I went in the locker room, I started changing the way I talked. I started changing how I listen to things, and I started challenging people in a different way. Once I started to ask questions to my white friends, because I've never been, at that time, no one is in the NBA or play basketball has never been openly gay.
Right.
I've never had a conversation with
even in our locker room.
Openly in our locker room. So I was ignorant when it comes to this space. So when my child came home at 8 years old, we were living in Chicago at the time after I left Miami, which we talked about. My child came home, and the reason my child didn't come home, it was an assignment that was done at school. An assignment at school would say, tell me about yourself. And this was the time where Zaya took the time to say, I'm black, I'm this, and I'm gay. At the time, Zaya said, I am gay. So the teacher called
At 8 years old.
At 8 years old, the teacher called home and said, hey, I just want you guys to know we post these all over the school, but we didn't want to post this if you guys and blah, 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 right? So we sat down with the teacher and talked about the teacher at that time was a gay female.
Okay.
Gave Zion the confidence.
That's a blessing.
To be able to say those words. So when we sat down and I was in the room across the way, I've been preparing myself for 5 years for that moment, not knowing what I was going to do or say. When Zaya sat down with me and was across the way, just like me and you are right now, Ryan, I'm looking at my child. I don't care about anything else. I'm looking at my child, and I'm looking at my responsibilities. I'm looking at a child that's crying, that's afraid to tell their father, wow, that they're different than what you probably thought I was, Dad. I don't want to play basketball. I'm not a boy. I feel that I am X, Y, and Z, right? I'm looking at my child, scared to tell me. And I feel like I am pretty open at this time. I realized that I needed to do better, and I needed to do more, and I needed to educate myself. And so what I did is I picked up the phone, I researched as much as I can because I need to understand.
Okay, I think I'm going to stop it right there. Enough is enough. Jesus Christ. And I'm not even a Christian. Boy. Where do we start? I'm going to talk about how Dwayne Wade went wrong. Now, I'm going to just put on the tinfoil hat for just a quick second. That's it. I'm not going to keep the tinfoil hat on. I promise that I'm only going to keep it on for about a few seconds. That's it. And I will immediately take off the tinfoil hat. Okay, Dwayne Wade is a damn Illuminati puppet. That's what I think. You can't possibly tell me that you don't have any better fathering nor manhood skills than this. There's also a few things that I'm concerned about. Okay, he said something that it may have jumped over a lot of y'all's heads. His son had a lesbian teacher. I think that's very important to know. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that there's probably a lot of women that are lesbians who are teachers. And it's not a guarantee nor anything to worry about if your child has a lesbian teacher. But in the Dwayne Wade situation, according to where they live and various people who may be placing certain people in certain locations, it's funny to me that he came out to a lesbian teacher. Okay. There's a possibility that there could have been some slight grooming going on in that school. I'm just saying. She also said something. He also said, Dwayne Wade mentioned something about when the teacher called him, she mentioned something to the effect of, we do these things. What are these things that you do? Do you go around and tell people, hey, this child is gay? Hey, let's everybody celebrate. Well, his name is Kenneth, but now he's Kanisha. Kanisha has come out and she is gay. You know, that if you have those type of activities going on at the type of left-wing liberal school that Dwayne Wade would probably send his child to, he was probably encouraged to believe it's cool to come out and be gay. He was probably encouraged to come out and say that or do that. It's not that he's just outright that way. He was probably encouraged by the culture that is in a certain particular school. Not that he is just that way naturally. He was probably encouraged to be that way because of a culture, like I said, that is probably prevalent at that school. Now, as far as being a man and as far as being a father, I think there's several areas where Dwayne Wade dropped the ball. Because here's the deal with Dwayne Wade, right? If you are the son of Dwayne Wade, your daddy is basically a superhero. Not just that, you living in Miami. And then, you know, from Miami to Chicago, I think Dwayne Wade may have spent his last year or two in Chicago. But you're a hero. Your son is always hearing, like, I came up during the 80s and 90s, but I was still a fan of Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was somebody who, I guess you could say the height of his career was in my late 20s, early 30s. Man, look, the only thing you hear, I mean, you heard it all the time. Dwayne Wade! You know, he's always scoring. He's always bringing his team back. Dwayne Wade can play ball like a motherfucker. Dwayne Wade is a straight up baller. He's probably going to squeeze into the top 50 all time. He's in the 40s, but hey, he's a top 50 all time player. If you think about his child, man, and, just imagine kids always coming up to him like, yo, daddy won last night. Ooh, Dwayne, your daddy scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. He brought us back. My mama loved the Wizards and my daddy loved Miami, and man, my daddy was happy as hell. The Wizards Miami beat the Wizards, and it was because Dwayne Wade hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer. You're always hearing that as a kid. So what happens psychologically, and you would think that to some extent, Dwayne Wade would know this. What's going to happen psychologically is that a big set of shoes is going to develop in your child's head. It's just that plain and simple. So if this child ever come to you and say, Daddy, I'm gay, that can just be his way of expressing that, Dad, look, I have no desire to dribble a ball. Like, I'm just not into basketball like that, Daddy-o. You was good at it. I look at you on TV all the time, and I look at my daddy flying through the air. I look at my daddy hitting jump shots above guys like Vince Carter, Shaquille O'Neal, just these notable players. I mean, I can probably show you my daddy posterizing some guy who's headed to the Hall of Fame. That's my dad. So there's going to be this very big expectation that's probably going to rise in his mind that says, man, I got a big set of shoes to fill, and he just wants to live his own life. He's not ready to step into that set of shoes. And you have to keep in mind, this is going on in the mind of a kid, the mind of a child. So as a dad, you have to be ready to deal with that, to tell him that, look, I love you regardless. You don't have to be me. Michael Jordan got a son. Hall of Fame linebacker Lawrence Taylor got a son. I can sit up here, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has children. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won 4, 5, 6 NBA championships. Magic Johnson, I mean, his child is gay also, but, let me not use that example. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Scottie Pippen has children. Tim Hardaway has children. None of these guys, I think Tim Hardaway has a son who's pretty good. But none of these guys, none of these kids of these legendary players were ultimately a chip off the old block. None of them. Rarely do you see a child of an NBA legend hoist a championship trophy and ring the way his dad did. Rarely. So you don't have to be me. You don't have to, man, look, if you don't ever want to step on a basketball court in your entire life, you don't have to. If you become a wood carver, a painter, you can, as far as I'm concerned, you can put together baskets. Just make sure that you are trying to be the best basket weaver that you can be. And you can walk around and pick flowers from the ground and put them inside your basket. I'm going to still love you regardless. You don't have to be me. This set of shoes you don't have to fill. And Dwayne Wade, I don't feel like knew how to communicate to his son that. It's kind of like the effect that you will sometimes see whenever you see like a dad and he's got kids, and you'll notice that 2 of the boys are basketball players or either football players, or either one of them is, let's say, a football player, but the other one, he might be, like a natural mechanic. Mechanics is something associated with maleness, masculine. And, you know, the man that just looks at his son, be like, that boy right there gonna be a linebacker in the NFL, and my other son, man, he's probably gonna end up owning a very big time, you know, auto body shop. You know, he just good with them cars. He's just like my brother, man. I mean, I would think that my brother slept with my wife. Boy, that boy is just like my brother, just like his uncle. He love his uncle. To tell you the truth, my brother called my son his, and I don't too much argue with it, you know. It may be that type of situation, you know, but then you got child number 3, and he's not necessarily an athlete nor anybody that does anything masculine. He probably likes to cook biscuits with his mama, you know, the type of boy that he is. That doesn't necessarily mean gay, and people need to know that. And I just think that Dwayne Wade failed in really letting his child know that, number one, at 8 years old, don't even come to me talking about, I wouldn't care if you were straight. Don't even come to me talking about girls. I mean, if you tell me you like a certain girl, you know, that's cool and all, but sexually, you don't know what the hell you want to do yet. And naturally, boys may not like girls at a young age. I didn't like girls at 7 or 8. I was just a boy. They like to run with the boys. We played with the girls for a minute, but just for a minute. 'Cause girls are stupid. Girls don't make sense. And girls like to wear clothes that can't get dirty. So they can't run with us. Let them sit over there and be stupid girls. Let's go run through the trees. Let's go swim up the creek. Let's go take a brick and a board and make a ramp and jump our bikes. And try to do tricks in the air. You know, you just did boy stuff. And you disliked girls, but it was just a natural dislike. It was the gender in you establishing itself as male, and girls got things that they do, and we have things that we do as boys. It's natural. So if a boy come to you at 7, 8, 9 years old and say, I don't like girls, that don't mean he's gay. That means he's a boy. And no child, like, you're talking about, you know, I don't want to say it, child intercourse. You know, whenever you're talking about 7 and 8 year olds, talking about who they attracted to, you don't know who you're attracted to, and you ain't finna be attracted to nobody yet. I don't want you to be attracted to nobody. You can be attracted, but you ain't finna start acting on nothing. As a matter of fact, don't even tell me nothing about no attraction. No the hell you not attracted. You need to be focusing on your school. You are in the 3rd damn grade. We got at least 5 more grade levels to go. You need to get up to like 8th or 9th grade before we even get into this topic. As of right now, just concentrate on your work at school. You know, that's what I tell a 7 or 8 year old. Coming to me talking about he's attracted to whoever the hell. You don't know who you're attracted to yet. Sit your ass down. Like, for real. And if you got a fucked up daddy, then this is what ends up happening to you. Jesus Christ. Boy, I tell you. That, man, look, and what they did, the reason why I call this dude an Illuminati puppet, he was sitting up talking so righteously and confidently and speaking so well and with such levels of strength. I'm like, man, look, you can confidently, you know, speak totally incorrect things, you know. That's because you're speaking confidently doesn't mean you're speaking correctly, you know, or that you're making sense or that your mind is right. You know, yeah, Dwayne Wade, this is just sad. And that was hard, man. That was hard to listen to. Like that 5-minute clip I played, that junk was hard for me to listen to, man. Because you have a negligent dad who is just misguided. And I think that if he's actually, and you cannot give a 12 or 13-year-old boy anything. I hope that he's not taking anything, because that is just what you have in this country is a pharmaceutical companies and a medical industry that is out of control. They're out of control. They're out of control. And it was Obama and Trump, but Obama started it with this healthcare bill. And encoded in that healthcare bill is basically permission for the medical and pharmaceutical companies to basically start lab rat experimenting with the American population and making all types of money. And what they've convinced men is that you can become a woman through a bunch of surgeries, and you will essentially become a medical slave to Big Pharma the rest of your life if you decide to transition. And it doesn't even matter if you detransition, you still need medications for life. After you done set up and pumped every which type of hormone and all this stuff in your body, you are going to need medications for life to live and survive. And they are going to make outrageous money off you. But this whole agenda is sick and crazy. Dwayne Wade needs counseling, and Dwayne Wade needs help because his sickness is spreading to his child, man. It's your boy, Shadow Band. I'm out.